Coming to you from our top secret broadcasting center, this is Pastor Mike. This is another Watchman video broadcast. You know what's been going on in the news. Let me read this headline for you. How Google and Facebook cooperated with the NSA and Prism. Now, I didn't say prison. I said the NSA and Prism. Now, I'm sure that you know what Google is. I'm sure you know what Facebook is. I use Google occasionally. I have I don't know how many Gmail accounts I have. And Facebook, we use Facebook to promote the ministry and things like that. So everybody's using this. I mean, it's just like taking over. In the last 5 or 6 years, people have just jumped on the technology that we have. Computers, laptops, desktops, iPads, tablets, phones, phablets. That's a phone and a tablet at the same time. And I admit to you, I'm sort of a tech junkie when it comes to this stuff. I like to have my devices around me. I like to keep plugged in with everybody. I like to do research. I like to read the Bible. I like to take notes and work on PowerPoints and things like that. And so I use these services. But I think it's time that we started being smart about it, because you see, we're finding out that somebody, somewhere is looking at all your junk. They're looking at all your stuff on Facebook and Google and Twitter and different things like that. And so the news started coming out last week about the NSA, the National Security Administration, the conglomerate in Washington, D.C., that is charged with gathering intelligence from places all over the world, as their title says, to provide national security. I just feel all warm and cuddly just thinking about it. To know that I am secure by a bunch of bureaucrats who only want more money and more power. You see, the NSA years ago used to only, well, let's look at what's going on in Iran. Let's look and see who's talking in Germany and Russia and China and places like that. They're not doing that anymore. Well, maybe they are. But now they're doing something a little extra, a little different, a little un-American, unconstitutional is what they're doing. Here's the article that came out in The Guardian from Great Britain. Why is it that Great Britain has to break all these good stories? How come it's another Watchman video broadcast? Anyway, NSA Prism program taps into user data of Apple, Google, and others. The National Security Agency has obtained direct access to the systems of Google, Facebook, Apple, and other U.S. internet giants, according to a top-secret document obtained by The Guardian. The NSA access is part of a previously undisclosed program called Prism. P-R-I-S-M. We're going to talk about that, which allows officials to collect material including search history, the content of emails, file transfers, and live chats. The document says, boy, if you're having an affair on your wife, it stinks to be you. Somebody knows about it, I guarantee you. You say, well, there's only so many people working the NSA. I read something the other day, something like 1.4 million people in America have top secret clearance in this country. That just, I don't know, I feel a little bit more secure already. Anyway, the article goes on to say, The Guardian has verified the authenticity of the document, a 41-slide PowerPoint presentation. Stop right here. I've seen parts of this PowerPoint presentation, and I'll tell you, just if it makes you feel any better, I've seen this presentation, and it's the people who are running the Prism program are the people who designed the PowerPoint. We really have nothing to worry about, because it's like the worst PowerPoint ever made in human history. Good grief. You go for one semester, you take a junior college course on how to make a PowerPoint. You get PowerPoint for dummies, for crying out loud. It's just, anyway. But I don't think the people who made the PowerPoint are the people who are actually designing the systems to watch over what you and I are doing. Anyway, what happened was a PowerPoint was leaked with all this information about this Prism program. We're going to talk about that today. We've already talked about the idea, and I'm going to kind of go over some of that with you this week. We've already talked about the idea of the all-seeing eye, how the devil wants to find out what everybody's doing. Knowledge is power. We're going to go back over a little bit of that, but we did a video here a while back called The All-Seeing Eye, Surveillance Society and the New World Order. And I explain in detail why these things are happening, what's going on, what is the spiritual concept behind it, what does the Bible say, and the Bible does. The Bible tells us exactly why these things are going on today. But we are living in an ever-increasing, monitored society. Let me go back to this article. The Guardian has verified the authenticity of the document, a 41-slide PowerPoint presentation, classified as top secret with no distribution to foreign allies, which was apparently used to train intelligence, that's debatable, operatives on the capabilities of the program. The document claims, quote, collection directly from the servers, unquote, of major U.S. providers. Although the presentation claims the program is run with assistance of the companies, all those who responded to a Guardian request for comment on Thursday denied knowledge of any such program. In a statement, Google said, Google cares deeply about the security of our users' data. We love our user data. We coddle our user data. We pet our user data. We feed our user data daily. We smile and we throw things at our user data. We care deeply about our user data. That's what Google says. I feel secure. I just really do. Anyway, in a statement, Google says, Google cares deeply about the security of our users' data. We disclose user data to government in accordance with the law, and we review all such requests carefully. From time to time, people allege that we have created a government backdoor into our systems, but Google does not have a backdoor for the government access or for the government to access private user data. Several senior tech executives insisted that they had no knowledge of Prism or any similar scheme. They said they would never have been involved in such a program. If they are doing this, they are doing it without our knowledge, one said. Does that sound right to you? And see, I would probably lean in this thing more toward Google if Google and all those other people hadn't showed up at the Bilderberg meeting. I would just feel better about anything that Google's telling us about how we don't really do this and we don't know anything about it if Google hadn't showed up at the Bilderberg meeting. Google goes to the Bilderberg meeting, the Bilderbergs all sit around and say, here's how we're going to run the show, we're going to run the world, we're going to keep all of our money, we're going to make more of it, we don't care what anybody else thinks, and don't dare tell anybody what we're talking about in here. See, when it comes to disclosure, companies like Google, Facebook, Yahoo, Microsoft Network, any of these others, Twitter, when it comes to being forthright with people, I don't trust them, and I don't think you should either. Here's really what we know. What we know is going on. See, Google is trying to say we don't have a back door. See, that's all semantics, because according to the whistleblower, here's what happens. All these companies like Google and Facebook and everything like that, they set up secure servers that really only do one thing. When the government says, here's the name of a guy, we want to know everything there is to know about this guy. Google, Facebook, et al., they compile all this information and they send it over to this secure server. It's kind of like a computer in a room. The only other people in the whole world who have access to this computer in the room is the National Security Administration Agency. Those are the only ones. And so, now that's what they admit they're doing, or that's what's been reported they're doing. But you have to ask the question, because we've been hearing Verizon handing over phone call information, not just date and place and so on and time and length, but words, messages, emails, text messages, things like that, over to the United States government. Why? Why do they need it? Basically, since 9/11, with the Patriot Act that everybody said, oh, we need peace and we need safety. So since 9/11, we've been trading in everything that we can for peace and safety. And so since 9/11, with the Patriot Act and all the things that have followed, we set up private tribunals, we set up courts where nobody in the country has any way of knowing what's going on there. And basically, the government has been given by a judge or a tribunal. I just don't like that word, tribunal. Anyway, they've been given over a writ that basically says, we're writing you a document that says that you can watch and monitor practically every electronic communication in the entire country. We're giving you the warrant, a search warrant, to search cell phones, cell phone data, Facebook, applications you download, things that you downloaded, chats that you made, emails that you sent, searches that you made at Google. Because I don't know if you know this or not, but they store your searches, put it in a database. Well, I go through and erase mine. You didn't erase their copy of it, did you? This is just what, this is the world that we live in. What was impossible 20 years ago is now possible. It's now probable, and it's happening right in front of our very eyes. Now, all of this now, the government saying that we have a right to look at everything that you're doing online, even though the Constitution says that the government is restricted from our papers and our effects and our property unless issued a warrant based upon probable cause. In other words, a witness says, you know what, I heard him talking about how he was going to blow up a federal building. That's probable cause. But we're talking about millions, hundreds of millions of American citizens who have rights. And those rights they're gone. When it comes to electronic information, those rights are gone. They've been done away with, but we don't know who did away with. So all this while the government now has access to all of your emails, it comes out that high-ranking officials in the Obama administration, they have special email rights that no one else in the world has. Take a look at this. U.S. officials found to be using secret government email accounts. See, I just feel secure. Some of President Barack Hussein's political appointees, including the Secretary for Health and Human Services, are using secret government email accounts that they say are necessary to prevent people like you and me from knowing what... No, it doesn't say that. To prevent their inboxes from being overwhelmed with unwanted messages, according to a review by the Associated Press. Is that really why? Is that really why? Is that really why? See, I don't know if you know this or not, but government emails, including those